check out Paddy's new Kicker feature. If you fancy your team to run riot, add a kicker to your bet. And if your team win big, you win bigger. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for taking the time to download this Racing Post football postcast. I'm Dave Clark of the Racing Post, joined by two of the finest football betting minds there are. James Milton, first of all, the Racing Post. James, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Dave.
Excellent. And the great Mark Langdon. Mark, how's your luck?
It's all right, Dave. Thanks for that brilliant intro. Do me best to live up to it.
And we've also got Adrian Croak on the line from our friends at Paddy Power. Adrian, how are things at Paddy Power Tower?
They're pretty good at the moment.
OK, let's get stuck right in to the action, gentlemen. Well, first of all, we'll talk about what the hell's going on at Leicester, gents. Ranieri's gone. Who should take charge, Mark?
Well, the players may as well take over. I mean, they've already landed the coup, haven't they? I don't think it really matters, seeing as the players have decided that they're going to turn it in for some managers and not for others. On that basis, maybe Shakespeare, who seems to get on quite well, he's kind of the last remaining link from Nigel Pearson. I mean, look from the outside looking in, I would have thought they would have wanted absolutely nothing to do with Nigel Pearson, given he's kind of crazy ways that he seems like from the outside. But the players did seem to like him, and obviously Shakespeare, goes back some way with him, and the players did respond somewhat. But I think you can see the clear problem. I mean, Danny, I don't know if you saw the tweet that Danny Simpson sent to Jamie Carragher yesterday, but it kind of went along the lines of, well, I've won the Premier League and you haven't, type thing. And
nice.
I think any manager that goes in there and tries to kind of stamp their own authority on the team and the squad is going to run into a situation where the players feel like because they've won the Premier League, they kind of know it all. So maybe Shakespeare until the end of the season is like the safest pair of hands. Right. And then in the summer, it may well need freshening up properly there, and to maybe bring in a few new faces that shake up the team, and a new manager as well.
Stay classy, Danny Simpson. Adrian, have you got a show for that?
Yeah, so at the moment, Craig Shakespeare's sitting there as favourite. He's 11-8 fab. Roy Hodgson 7-5. We've got Michael O'Neill at 12-1. Gus Hiddink 16s, and Nigel Pearson at 18s.
James Shakespeare or Boy, as it were, either way, a dream for headline writers out there, I'm sure.
It is. I mean, I agree with Mark, actually, in the short term. I mean, I think it probably makes sense to stick with Shakespeare. I mean, they've shown just in the kind of second half against...
Stick with Shakespeare all day, every day.
I'm trying to limit the puns with this. It could be a long time till the end of the season with Shakespeare. We'll ration those, but they've shown enough in the second half in Seville, and then obviously the Liverpool win to suggest that they should stay up fairly comfortably. There's other teams kind of in far worse straits. Just from the names Adrian mentioned, actually, probably not from a betting perspective, but I thought an interesting one was Michael O'Neill. I've seen a lot of other bookmakers don't seem to be quoting him, but I just thought he'd done a terrific job with such limited resources with Northern Ireland. I think he mentioned actually Leicester before the Euros. Said he wanted Northern Ireland to take inspiration from Leicester's achievement last season.
But he didn't think he'd be pitching for a job.
No. But if they're after a Euro 2016 manager, then O'Neill might be a slightly braver choice than Roy Hodgson, but might pay off.
And Adrian, before we get stuck into the weekend live action, where's the money been going? Any whispers?
The money's been going on Roy, really is where it came. It started with Mancini, but he came out and said he didn't want it. But Craig Shakespeare, the way we settle the market is after 10 games, if you're still in charge, you're going to get settled as winner. So it's looking like the market kind of seems Shakespeare might keep the job till the end of the season. They'll reassess it from there, maybe.
And then that would cop, I suppose, 10 games. Right, OK, let's get stuck into the live games. First one up is Manchester United against Bournemouth. I'll stick with you, Adrian. You got a show for us, please?
Yeah, so Man United are 1-4. The draw is 5-1, and Bournemouth are 11-1.
And how do you see it? Fresh from that EFL Cup win?
Bournemouth are really, really struggling. I think they've got 1 point all since the turn of the year. Maybe 2. I can't remember a second one. But yeah, they're dragging themselves into a relegation race that they were well clear of in December. I can see a United victory here anyway.
Yeah, gents, since the turn of the year, Bournemouth have just nosedived.
Yeah, I mean, 2 points in 7 Premier League games in 2017, 20 goals conceded. In their last 14 matches, they've conceded at least 2 goals in 12 of those Premier League games, and they've conceded at least 3 in 8 of those matches, which is obviously just damning statistics. I think Nathan Ake's departure to Chelsea was a big problem. And the way I'm looking to get into this one is Man United to win and over 2.5 goals. United, I don't think are playing great as a collective unit. But as Gary Neville said in commentary on Sunday during their EFL Cup, they're just producing moments. And I think that's what you can do when you've got quality like Ibrahimovic, who was the hero at Wembley, Pogba.
That's what you can do when you've got your own hashtag.
Well, exactly, yeah, emoji, isn't it?
Yeah, emoji.
He's got his own
yeah.
emoji, and that is what United are doing. They're just playing in moments. I just think that quality in the final third will just be devastating for Bournemouth. Bournemouth do tend to score goals, and even with Josh King playing up front rather than Callum Wilson, who's obviously out for the season, they may be able to contribute to this. But even if they don't, it wouldn't be a massive price that United sort of cop the over 2.5s on themselves. So I'm going United to win over 2.5 goals.
James, Hugh Mourinho's side's not renowned for smashing up the lower sides, but what do we think?
Yeah, I think with Bournemouth, I just think the way they're defending, I think United
or not
could,
defending.
Well, yeah, I think United could turn on the style. I do fear for Bournemouth in this one. United -1 on the handicap looks pretty solid at 8-11. I was just looking at United's record against the bottom 8 teams, and they've won 10 of their 12 games. 7 of those have been by at least 2 goal margin. And Bournemouth's big away games, they lost 3-0 at Chelsea, 4-0 at City. 3-1 at Arsenal, and then had that 6-3 at Everton recently as well. And I'm not expecting a 6-3 for. I don't think Jose would enjoy that very much. But no, I think United should win pretty cosily.
Yeah, worrying times on the South Coast. Adrian, what price are Bournemouth to be relegated?
Bournemouth to be relegated at the moment, they're sitting there at 8.
8-1.
Yeah, they're kind of top as Allardyce came out at the start at the week. They're top of a 7-team league down there, but they're drifting down quite fast.
Gents, is there anyone what could be a price? We've got a quick show, Adrian, for a few of the sides that are not sort of dead and buried already.
Quick show for the relegation.
Relegation, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. So the relegation market. Sorry now.
I mean, I think Sunderland are definitely.
Sunderland are
Yeah.
definitely 1-6. Swansea are 7-2. Watford are 10-11. Middlesbrough. Sorry, not Watford. Watford are 33-1. Palace are 10-11. Middlesbrough are 8-11. Swansea 7-2, and Leicester City 9-2.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth could. I mean, I've been a big fan of Bournemouth. I've backed them top half finish, but I mean, if there's to be one that gets absolutely sucked into it, you are relying on a Hull or probably more likely Palace to pick up. But if Palace do pick up, and there were signs I think we saw of an Allardyce-esque.
Someone else has got to go. Yeah.
So yeah,
right.
somebody's got to be dragged into it. I mean, I was looking at Burnley because they've got a lot of hard games left, but possibly got just enough points already on the board. Mathematically, going to be very difficult for all of them teams to jump above them. But I mean, the way Bournemouth are playing at the moment, you look at their best defenders no longer with them, Ake, their best centre forwards out for the season. That's not a good recipe, really.
When they score 3 goals against Arsenal and Everton, they still
still
can't
don't win
games. Yeah. You're not giving yourself much of a chance, though. Are you?
Just quickly, what do we think about Middlesbrough? They're a side who's sort of struggling to score at the moment and being dragged into it.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I've always kind of quite liked their football. I mean, not the saying I want to watch it all day, every day, but I think they do control matches reasonably well. But they've just got nothing in that sort of final third. I mean, Negredo does okay, but his movement's not particularly good. And the other signings that they made in January, Gested and Bamford, I mean, they're championship players. So I'm not sure they did the best business in January. Another one, you look at like the type of player that Palace bought was Sacco from Liverpool, or brought in anyway, Sacco from Liverpool, and the guy from Olympiacos cost quite a lot of money as well. They kind of meant business, didn't they? Van Arnold got the winner against Middlesbrough. They kind of, I think, realised the severity of their situation probably more than what Middlesbrough did.
Plenty of life left in that market, that's for sure. Right, we'll move on to Liverpool versus Arsenal, which is always a barnstormer. 3-4 was the score at the Emirates back in August. Adrian, you got a show there for us?
So Liverpool are 21-20 at home. The draw is 5-2, and Arsenal are 13-5 at the moment.
And what's the Paddy Power position on that? Are you looking to take anyone on? I think you were top price about Arsenal, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, and we're trying to take on Arsenal here. Liverpool, we've seen what Arsenal have done against the kind of top teams of late, and it's when Liverpool turn up the show they can't beat the bottom sides, which is Arsenal's bread and butter, and Arsenal can't go up against the top sides. So we're happy to lay Arsenal at 13-5.
James, Liverpool very, very poor against Leicester.
Yeah, they were, but their previous home game they beat Tottenham, so they're a difficult side to get a hold of. And you mentioned the goals in this fixture traditionally, the 4-3 to Liverpool in the reverse fixture at the start of the season. The last 3 at Anfield, 3-3, 2-2, and then a 5-1 win for Liverpool when Arsenal were absolutely blown away. I think very early on that was. So I'm looking. I can quite understand Paddy Power's stance on Arsenal as an Arsenal fan myself. It's it's hard to be confident. And I'm looking at in the goal scorer market to kind of side with Liverpool. Coutinho has a decent record against Arsenal, but Power are short about him. So I thought Sadio Mane could be the each way value at 6-1. Scored twice against Tottenham in his last home game.
Massive player for Liverpool.
Yeah. He's kind of direct and tricky and quick and a good finisher. And I just don't see Arsenal's defence keeping him quiet really. I mean, he scored 7 goals in 11 home Premier League games for Liverpool. He got the fifth goal in that crazy game at Arsenal, so that was just enough for each way backers with Paddy Power. And yeah, he's certainly a danger man.
Mark, Arsenal have got Bayern Munich on Tuesday. Does that have any bearing whatsoever on this? I wouldn't know.
Saving ourselves.
I've got to ask the question, but I didn't think it would have.
No, I mean obviously that's almost dead and buried, isn't it? That game. No, this is a far more important contest just so that Arsenal can qualify for next season's Champions League.
So they can beat again.
Draw Bayern Munich in the last 16 and get hammered again. I thought that Liverpool were an okay price here. I mean, they're going off roughly the same price that they did against Tottenham when they were easy 2-0 winners. I mean, it could have been more on that occasion. I think there's not much between Tottenham and Arsenal in terms of ability. So just sort of using that as my sort of form guide and price guide, I thought Liverpool were okay. I mean, yes, they got beat by Leicester last time out, but I think, mate, and I was on Liverpool the last leg of an ACCA, so it let me down. But with hindsight, maybe it was the wrong time to be going to Leicester. The players definitely had something to prove after what had happened earlier on in the week. They've still scored. I mean, Danny Drinkwater's goal that sort of really put the game beyond Liverpool there. I mean, that's got nothing to do with Ranieri going or anything. I mean, that's just one of them things that you just have to kind of. That's just what happens in football sometimes. But I think over the course of the season, Liverpool have done enough and Arsenal have not done enough to suggest that odds against at Anfield is okay for Liverpool. I just can't trust Arsenal in these big games because it's become a cliche, but they just don't tend to perform in these big, particularly away matches.
What about goals? Do you believe they go with the trend of goals? We're going to see that again or not?
Liverpool's matches under Klopp in the big games, I mean, they've not lost to a top 6 team. The 4-3 was the sort of exception to the rule. They've tended to be tighter affairs. You think of the 0-0 against Man United, the 1-1 against United, 2-0 Liverpool, 1-0 Man City, that the 1-1 against Chelsea as well pretty recently. So actually, they tend to be lower scoring these Liverpool games against the bigger teams. So I wouldn't be lumping on, over 2.5 and both teams to score at short prices on that evidence. Although it does look like a game full of goals. What I would say as well, just going quickly back to that 4-3. I mean, Arsenal had their whole defence out, didn't they, on that occasion?
It was chaos, yeah.
So I mean, that maybe had an influence on why there were so many goals in the game.
Is this the sort of game that Wenger hasn't really got a plan B though, James? You probably know as an Arsenal fan, they're going to play the Arsenal way. Will they be able to cope with that intensity from Liverpool?
I think in the recent games against Liverpool, Arsenal have kind of tried to play, Wenger ball or whatever you call it, and Liverpool have just played it with more intensity, more pace, kind of fresher legs, and I mean they absolutely zipped the ball around kind of the start of the second half in that game at the Emirates, and scored some fantastic goals.
Arsenal haven't played for a while, have they? I mean, that Sutton game wasn't really a fixture.
No, that's right. They've had a nice break after that.
But I mean, Liverpool lost after 16 days off. Stoke looked like they were still in Dubai when they played Tottenham. I'm wondering whether these sort of big long breaks are what they're cracked up to be.
Adrian, just quickly, where's the line, the over-unders there, and the prices in that game?
The over-under, so the under is 10 to 11, and the overs are 4 to 5 at the moment.
Excellent stuff. Right, cue Mr. Steve Palmer.
This will not be beaten.
Okay, gentlemen, it's that time for this in the postcast where we get your best bets of the week. I'm looking for a juicy treble. I'll kick off with you, James.
Well, I'm opposing Crystal Palace actually at West Brom. I know Palace got that huge win last time out, but West Brom's home form against the weaker teams in the division, taken 25 points from a possible 27 against the sides below them in the table, won their last 4 at the Hawthorns, and I think Tony Pulis may well be up for this game. I think it's fair to say. So,
Free chance of that.
That's the analysis there. Yeah.
Right, so a tick for West Brom. Mark, yourself?
I'm going to go for Swindon to beat Chesterfield. A huge game at the bottom of League One. Swindon have shown signs of perking up in recent weeks. They've successive 3-1 victories against Gillingham and Coventry. No real surprise that it's come since Josie's returned to the club, scored a load of goals from last season. Abika's back fit. They've got Rowan Ince in from Brighton. He's not quite going to make it at Brighton, but he's a very good player at the lower end of League One. Also brought Gladwin back from QPR, who's one of the stars when they nearly got promoted last time out of this division. So it's a kind of a Swindon side that's been revamped in recent weeks. They look revitalised. Chesterfield, they are getting 1 or 2 players back, but they look doomed, and they get battered on the shot stats nearly every single game. So I'm expecting Swindon to make the most of home advantage.
Okay, Adrian, we're after a price for West Brom, a price for Swindon, and a selection from yourself, please, with the price.
So the Swindon price, or I'll go with the West Brom first. The West Brom price is 11 to 10 at home to Palace. You'll get Palace 11 to 4 in that game, and the draw 9 to 4. And Swindon at the moment are sitting. I lost that there.
I think they're around about the 5 to 6 mark, I think. So.
Swindon, you are 4 to 6 actually. 4 to 6, 12 to 5, and 7 to 2.
They've been smashed up overnight.
And one from yourself, Adrian, you could complete that treble.
Just to complete the treble, I'm looking to Italy on Sunday, and Atalanta are 5 to 6 at home, which seems a little too short against Fiorentina. So I'd be taking Fiorentina on that side, and you can get them at 16 to 5.
16 to 5, that'll pay a nice few quid. Right, it's competition time. Every week our sponsors, Paddy Power, will be giving listeners the chance to win a free £25 or €20 bet. Competition on the Racing Review show on Monday and on the Football show on Thursday. All you have to do is answer the following question, but you must tweet it and use the hashtag Postcast. Question today is, who scored the winning goal for Manchester United in last weekend's EFL Cup final against Southampton? The winner will be announced next week's Postcast, along with another question, obviously. The winner will have the free bet credited to their Paddy Power account, so get on Twitter and tweet in that answer. We'll go for a quick break and tackle Sunday's games.
Check out Paddy Power's latest football offer. Bet £20 on either team to win in the Liverpool v Arsenal match this weekend and get a £5 free bet for every goal they score in that match. Not available in shops. T&Cs apply. 18+. Gambleware.co.uk.
Hello there, welcome along to the Racing Post Football Postcast, joined by Racing Post football betting experts Mark Langdon, James Milton and Adrian Croak on the line from our friends at Paddy Power. And Adrian, give us a show for the first game on Sunday, which is Tottenham versus Everton, please.
So Spurs are 4 to 6, the draw is 29 to 10, and Everton are 4 to 1 away at the moment.
And what are we thinking?
Prices probably look about right. Tottenham were very impressive against Stoke, but as we said, Stoke didn't look like they came back from holidays. Everton, again, very good last week. Lukaku looks to be absolutely on flying form. Maybe looking at a game, both teams to score, again quite short, but 4 to 6 for the yes here and 11 to 10 for no.
Interesting, Mark. Both teams keeping plenty of clean sheets of late.
Yeah, I mean, I really, this is a real head scratcher for me. Not helped by the fact that we don't know the status yet of Toby Alderweireld and even Jan Vertonghen There was a slight doubt about him. I expect Vertonghen to play. Alderweireld went off against.
Leave a massive hole at the back.
I mean, it'd be absolutely massissive if he was out. I mean, I don't think I could back Spurs at 4-6 if he wasn't playing. Everton are unbeaten in 9, and that includes their last 5 away matches as well. But in the end, I've just come down to keeping it very simple. And going for Harry Kane to score any time, around about 5-6. I mean, he scored in 6 of his last 8 home Premier League games. He's got 3 hat-tricks in his last 7 domestic fixtures as well. Takes the Tottenham penalties. He's on the free kicks now. He's taken over from Eriksen there.
He's not on the corners like he was for England, is he?
No, he's on the end of the corners.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But he's the focal point to the attack. Dele Alli and obviously Christian Eriksen supplying brilliantly. Kyle Walker bombs down the right as well. If Tottenham score, it's almost certain to be Kane the way that he's going. And, I mean, in a really difficult game, that was the only kind of minor angle I could find.
There was a stat I saw, first player since Jimmy Greaves to score 20 goals in all competitions in 3 consecutive seasons.
I mean, he's like his whole career record's like 1 in 2 for somebody that, wasn't overly appreciated in some of his early loan spells. He didn't make the grade at Leicester nor at Norwich. I mean, he's just been phenomenal, really. I mean, people still doubt some parts of his game, and there are times when I do too. But I mean, his finishing is just exceptional. Even if he is running a little bit hot at the moment, you can't carry this on, but hopefully he can just get the one.
Before I get James's view, Adrian, just quickly, Harry Kane first goal, anytime scorer. Sure, it'd be popular.
Harry Kane first goal is 11-4, and any time is 5-6.
5-6, James. Does that appeal to you? That 5-6?
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, I'm quite keen on Tottenham here. I think Mark's right to voice his caution and about the defensive.
That's probably the Spurs fan in him, though.
But yeah,
well.
yeah.
I just think with
with the
Toby's
fitness
out,
doubts. Yeah, you probably be waiting for team news on this. But
yeah.
I thought 4-6 Tottenham at home. They've won 11 of 13. In the league, beaten Chelsea, beaten Man City, and Everton's away form is pretty unconvincing. Actually, just looking at them, I mean, they've been in decent form, and obviously Lukaku scoring plenty of goals. They've still got after the trip to White Hart Lane, they've still got to go away to Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United. So Everton fans dreaming of pushing on for maybe even a top 6 place. I think that could dampen their enthusiasm a little bit. And yeah, I think. Maybe wait and see for the team news, but I wouldn't put you off backing Tottenham around 4-6.
Be ready to fire the bullet
Pounce,
once we get the team news. Right, Adrian, second game on Sunday, 4:00 kickoff, Sunderland versus Manchester City, who are trundling along rather well.
So Sunderland are 10-1, the draw is 92, and Man City are 2-7 here.
2-7, plenty short enough?
Yeah, they're plenty short there. I think they're deservingly short. Sunderland look to be almost on their way out of the league. Only player that's played for them all season seems to be Defoe. 2-7, hard to back anything that short of price, but maybe if you're looking at the handicap here, you can get Man City -2 at 21-10.
Okay.
Bit big, but maybe.
Mark, not for everyone, 2-7, and does look a bit of a mismatch, but how do we play?
I was looking at the -1. I'm not going to be quite as aggressive there as Adrian and go for the -2. But, 6 of their last 7 wins, City have been by at least 2 goals. I mean, you could say that Sunderland have done okay in a lot of their big matches, against Liverpool, Tottenham. They were unlucky as well against Chelsea to, nearly nicked a point in that one. But I'm just always wary of the way that they play. I mean, they don't create many chances, and they give the opposition so much possession that they're almost relying on a bit of luck. Quite often, and they had that against Liverpool. Tottenham didn't play particularly well, but I mean, they never looked like they were going to score in that game. And I mean, City at the moment are playing the best stuff in the Premier League. That Sane and Sterling wide of Aguero is absolutely devastating. And some of their football against Huddersfield was just incredible. I don't know if you've seen the goal. I think it was the 4th goal. There was like a minute's worth of passing from Man City that goes all the way back to Bravo, chips a ball over the oncoming Huddersfield player. They go down the other end and score, with De Bruyne as well playing well. I'd be surprised if Sunderland kept this respectable.
That's why he's in the side. Mark, good with his feet. That keeper.
Well,
Good with his
yeah,
feet.
well, he won't be in the side on. He won't be on the side on Sunday because Big Willie will be back. Caballero's actually done okay, since he's come into the team. But I mean, I've said it for most of the season, and I'll continue to say it. Man City are the best team in the Premier League. They just had that wobbly spell that's probably going to cost them the title.
James, for you, this game?
Yeah, it's a tricky one from a betting perspective. I mean, this is the kind of fixture that in recent seasons, this is the kind of one that would spark a Sunderland great escape. You'd be having a little nibble at 10-1 or whatever, but you just can't see it this time around. I mean, they're unlikely to be adventurous, as Mark said. They do tend to kind of sit back and concede so much possession, and against a team like City, who are kind of becoming more clinical. I think that was their problem. They were probing, but they were missing chances. I think they are sharpening up now. Maybe the correct score is the way to go. City do give teams opportunities. And so possibly the 3-1 Manchester City win, but it's a real.
Well, he's going to go for something like 8-1 there.
Have you got prices?
I'm being conservative with this.
Prices for that, Adrian? 3-1 and Mark obviously more
-1.
sweet on the -1 rather than your more adventurous -2.
So Man City to win 3-1 was 9-1, and the -1 is sitting there at 8-11 at the moment.
In a mismatch like this live on Sky, would you see lots of money, Adrian, for the handicap markets there?
No, usually in a mismatch like this, you start seeing money for the first goal scorer, especially someone like Aguero when he's in the game. So I'd expect to see a heavy backing of him this weekend.
So, yeah, what price is he then? Give us a quick show, the first 4 or 5 players. I'm guessing they're all City players, maybe Defoe popping up in there somewhere.
Defoe's actually 17-2, so he's missing out on the top of the market there. Sergio Aguero is 21-10, so probably each way is your best bet to get on him here. Then you have subs like Iheanacho getting in there. After that, you're looking at Sterling, who's been pretty good as of late, getting up and around the box, 11-2. Kevin De Bruyne 6-1, and the one I'd fancy there is actually Sané at 13-2.
Seems like a big price, that.
Sané, yeah, he's absolutely flying at the moment.
Take a short price about Aguero. Right, we'll go for a quick break and then we'll tackle Monday's game. Massive game.
Check out Paddy Power's latest football offer. Bet £20 on either team to win in the Liverpool v Arsenal match this weekend and get a £5 free bet for every goal they score in that match. Not available in shops. T&Cs apply. 18+. Gambleware.co.uk.
Welcome to the Racing Post Football Postcast. We're looking at the London Derby, Monday night, 8 p.m. kickoff, West Ham versus Chelsea, and should be a belter, gents, surely.
Yeah, I would have thought so, Dave. I mean, I think I'm going to oppose Chelsea here. I think they're a little bit short for my liking. Obviously the London Derby aspects will make it slightly more difficult as well. And I think the way that Chelsea have got this lead now, they don't have to go gunning for victories in these away games. I mean, I think we saw that at Burnley. If they were, say, level on points with Manchester City or somebody, at 1-1, they would have been throwing everything forward to try to win the game. But they didn't quite do that because they don't need to do that. It's just about sort of managing the rest of the campaign. I mean, they've dropped points in 3 of their last 5 away games. Now, 2 of them were at Spurs and Liverpool. So, there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
But the other one at Burnley, I mean, they were a real short price there, didn't get the job done. And I just had a look. Last 4 away games in the Premier League, they've had 9 shots on target. That's not what you'd expect of a team that's going to win the Premier League. They've been very efficient up front, but I think they're reasonably conservative on the road as well. So I wouldn't be taking the odds-on prices there. West Ham without Antonio, but big Andy Carroll's back, and I think that's like a fair swap.
Yeah.
Very different players, but at least Carroll's back, and I think they can give Chelsea an awkward test.
Well, Mark thinking that Chelsea a little bit too short. Adrian, give us a quick show for the 90 minutes bet in there, please.
So West Ham are 9-2, the draw is 3-1, and Chelsea are sitting here at 8-13.
8-13. How would you play it yourself, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement there. I mean, I think Chelsea are definitely deserving of the 8-13. I've seen enough of West Ham at home this year, especially the 2 games against City kind of stick out where they've just been absolutely dismantled. But yeah, I have a slight feel if Fav is going to get overturned this weekend, I am thinking West Ham are probably the best placed team to do it.
There we go, James. You in agreement with that?
Actually, I mean, Adrian's mentioned the capitulations against City, but I think I think Chelsea are a very different style
City
of
were
team.
awesome as well.
Yeah. You can't see Chelsea turning it on quite like that. I thought maybe both teams to score could be the bet here. 4 of West Ham's last 5 games, that's copped. And in Chelsea's last 4 league games, and just looking at the recent head-to-heads, the last 4 in the last 2 seasons have all had goals at both ends. Maybe a little tickle on 2-2, but I think West Ham, they're just going to be bang up for this one, aren't they? And I think they can cause Chelsea a few problems.
It wasn't full strength Chelsea, but they did go out at the cup, didn't they?
In the League Cup,
in the League Cup to West Ham. Obviously, there was a bit of trouble off the pitch that night, and I just think that kind of atmosphere that's going to be responding to that just makes this a more awkward game than, say, Chelsea if they're away to a team, let's say, that's sort of similar level to West Ham, I don't know, Stoke or something like that. I just think that derby atmosphere and everything could just...
Not convinced that's there at the Olympic Stadium, if I'm honest.
Well,
I think the bowling ground, definitely.
No, I think I think as far as that new stadium goes, I think people are not as angry about it anymore. They've kind of accepted it, and I think it just needs something for lift-off there. Really, this could be the game where people kind of get behind it and it helps them. But I mean, I just think there'll be better 8 to 13 shots out there over the course of the next week or so.
Be Costa leading the line for Chelsea, do we think?
Yeah. I mean, that Chelsea team doesn't change, which is one of the reasons why they're top of the table. They've had consistency in team selection. I mean, somebody like Slaven Bilic has not had that for most of the campaign. Injuries, the Payet situation, but I think he's almost found his best 11 now. They're certainly a lot closer to it than what they were at the start of the season, and I just don't. I thought they were well worth their point at Watford. Probably should have won that game, and they're doing okay now. And this is not a gimme for Chelsea.
I ask what prices Costa to open the scoring. Adrian, I saw an incredible stat that 30 goals have been scored at Chelsea this season by Spanish players, more than any side in La Liga. So what price is Costa to open the scoring?
So Costa is 100 to 30 here to open the scoring, and if you wanted another Spanish player that might be doing it, Pedro, you can have it 11 to 2.
There we go, and Fabregas pitching in as well if he gets a run out. Right, let's move on to the Champions League before we depart, gents. We've got a couple of games next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Anything catch your eye, Mark?
Over 10.5 in the Real Madrid-Napoli affair. And you see, no, I think that's got to be high scoring, but the goal line's pretty high for that one. Real Madrid, of course, conceded 3 against Las Palmas last night and still didn't lose the game. That would be brilliant. I thought the best bet was Borussia Dortmund to qualify against Benfica. I've no idea how they managed to lose that game 1-0 in Lisbon. Obviously difficult now they've conceded, not got the away goal, and if they do concede, it becomes tricky. But I still think if they concede, they can score 3 against this a very average Benfica team, really. So I'll go for Dortmund to qualify.
James, it looks pretty competitive, barring the Arsenal game. All sides in with a shout of qualifying, perhaps still.
Barcelona against PSG. You guys
well, maybe not.
I've got written down Dortmund to qualify as well. As Mark said, I mean they should really have a lead, not a first leg deficit. But unbeaten at home in the Bundesliga, beaten Bayern Munich at home. I think they can turn it around. And also, that Napoli Real Madrid game is going to be a feast for the eyes, and I think Napoli, around 15 to 8, they could be worth a little bet to win in 90 minutes, possibly not overturn the 3-1 deficit. But Real now conceded 7 goals in their last 3 league games before the weekend, and so there are
I think
chances.
as well. I think it's something like 1 clean sheet in 15 away matches,
wow,
which is just absurd for a team that's so dominant, at the moment.
James, you would know better than most, obviously being an Arsenal fan. I'm sure you'll probably be watching that game from behind the sofa.
Is the Champions League still going on?
Any angle? Is there any angle in that game?
Arsenal traditionally, when they're faced with a kind of lost cause like this, like to kind of go 3-0 up in no time, and they're just killing you with the hope. But I think Bayern have been stung a couple of times like that by Arsenal in recent years, and I don't think they'll make the same mistake.
The best tip for on Arsenal v Bayern is to watch Napoli versus Real Madrid. That's the best advice I can give
Should be a
to all
cool
listeners.
Adrian, any prices there? Anything catch the eye?
I think Arsenal at home, maybe. Bayern don't have to try. They don't have to put out their first team. I mean, 15 to 8 probably seems a little big for Arsenal, who could win it without ever touching that goal deficit. The other one is I'm actually kind of the other side of the Dortmund-Benfica one. I think the lack of the away goal could make it very difficult for Dortmund, who as of late seem to have been pretty profligate in front of goal, especially in that Benfica game. They should have won that 2 or 3-1. They had a missed penalty as well. I think Benfica might actually be able to nip one there.
What are the to qualify prices just quickly? Both the guys sweet on Borussia Dortmund. So
Dortmund are 8-11 fav and Benfica are at even money at the moment.
Excellent stuff. Sound about right, gents? 8-11. Get stuck in.
Yeah. It's going to be a great game. I think that there's no doubt about that. Actually, it's going to be another 2 thrilling nights of Champions League action.
Excellent stuff. We've got plenty of weekend action as well. Hopefully steered you in the direction of a couple of winners there. Join us next week for another football postcast.
Check out Paddy's new kicker feature. If you fancy your team to run riot, add a kicker to your bet. And if your team win big, you win bigger. Paddy Power, you beauty.